I'm Vince Vitale, Editor-in-Chief of Youngry. I'm here with Mark James from ConnectedYard. First question I have is, how did ConnectedYard start?
We started off 2.5 years ago with a problem, and the problem was, how do you look after your pool or your hot tub? And we realized that it was a big problem because the industry is pretty old-fashioned these days, and looking after your pool or your hot tub if you're doing it yourself is very difficult,
right.
And having a pool tech manage it for you as well can be difficult. So we approached the problem from two sides, seeing how could we disrupt a marketplace positively and ensure that the whole of the vertical market that we were dealing with was actually going to be embracing us and actually want to work with us.
Wow, excellent. So the product is actually called pHin.
Yeah.
What is the product? What does that do?
Well, the first product from ConnectedYard is pHin.
Okay.
It's part of a system. So the system is made up of this smart monitor. And what the smart monitor does is you drop it in the water, and it floats at this level here, and it analyzes your water chemistry and tells you what's going on. The second part of it is obviously the smartphone application, the app you download, and it tells you exactly what's happening and what to add.
Okay.
So you're always in the know, you always know what's going on, and even if you are using a pool tech, you can keep an eye on him and check what's happening as well.
So are there push notifications that are sent to you as well, or is this just something you can check on?
No, it's push notifications. We're designing California, it's pretty relaxed.
Yeah.
And the way we've gone about this is by using really talented teams within the company who work for Apple, etc., who actually create great UX. And we've actually made the whole experience very seamless, very simple. So it's literally a case of you get a vibration, you can see that something's happening. And in fact, what happens is that the color changes. It changes from blue to say everything's great, to orange to say, well, maybe later on you should do something about it, and then to red is don't go in the water. There's something you should deal with.
Something needs to be addressed.
Yeah.
That's awesome. So you're really taking the questioning out of things. It just keeps it completely simple, and you know when something needs to be adjusted and it's taken care of.
Exactly, and what we're also doing is we're actually fulfilling chemicals as well. So we're actually taking the whole concept of a smart monitor to fulfill the actual products that you're using back to the home, so that we ship you a box of single-dose color-coded chemical pods, and the smartphone app says put 2 green and 1 blue on it. So it's completely seamless and very simple to use. And there's also a service button. So at any time you want to get an on-demand service visit, you can push the button and get a service tech in to come and sort out something more professional. Maybe you've got a water leak or the pump's not working.
So where did you come up with this idea originally?
So I have my co-founder Justin to thank for this. Him and I are very close friends, living close by to each other. We were sat there in the garden flipping burgers one day. I'm saying earlier, I'm an English guy, so I was determined to have the smallest barbecue possible. Because in America everything's big.
Everything.
And you got to have a big barbecue.
4th of July.
So I had a whole group of people over, a little tiny barbecue flipping burgers, and we were both concerned about the state of the industry and what we could do about it, because we both had pools. I got a pool and a hot tub, and so we came up with the idea from there.
Okay, perfect. So was this your first business, or were there other businesses that you had as an entrepreneur before this?
Yeah, I'm a bit of a serial entrepreneur, so this is my 4th one. What I really enjoy about this is that I've been in my comfort zone before. I've been in media and software, and this was something which is hardware and industry specific, and it's something that I really want to get my teeth into. So we looked at the idea, but I think one of the best things that happened to us was, one, we're in the valley, where people take this very seriously, and there's a lot of energy. What I love about America in general is the amount of energy that's going on in terms of making people and supporting them into successful entrepreneurs. In the UK, where I came from in my previous startups, the biggest problem I faced was that you didn't have that entrepreneurial understanding for international expansion. So we grew the company called Tamblin very successfully in creating interactive media content, but we couldn't take it any further because we couldn't find local investors. So we ended up selling out to Vitale Lucent as a 3-year handover, where we earned that money out and grew internationally through that instead.
Wow.
So I think for me, coming from the UK, innovation is there. Innovation is in France and in Europe, but there wasn't that real appetite for investment internationally. And so coming to the US, where it's been there for hundreds of years. You look at the way that the US economy has been grown, the way you build cities, the way you build infrastructures. America's always been very successful at doing that and being entrepreneurial, and that's in your blood, in the American blood, and in Silicon Valley especially.
So you mentioned that one of the biggest differences was that the investment money is more here and the infrastructure is more here in America. What other differences are there from European startup and entrepreneurship life, and maybe UK specific as opposed to America? What other differences have you noticed from doing both?
It's a good question. I think it's attitude of mind.
Attitude of mind.
Yeah. I mean, if I can look back and look at building some of my previous companies, you've got that doubting, Thomas, kind of, is it going to succeed? Is it going to fail? If it fails, then are you a success from that failure? And actually, no, you're not. And actually maybe you should go and work for somebody else. Where here in the US, what I've noticed is that failure isn't a negative, it's actually a positive. You've got the battle scars, you've learned from that, and you can grow from that. And if you look around CES, and I've been here today, and you see the amount of companies that are here, small startups with a huge vision and really wanting to strive for success, a lot of them will fail. But on that failure will grow more success. And in fact, you look at Internet of Things and the IoT, what's happening at CES, those failures are going to build some great foundations to build upon to make more success.
Right. I completely agree. And this is called ConnectedYard. So are there any other physical products that you're going to launch besides pHin?
Absolutely. So we start off by thinking about a pull product. But we soon realized that actually what we're trying to do is actually make your life easier in the backyard, more fun, less work. And so to do that, we actually wanted to try and take the backyard as a complete concept. At the moment, Nest and others own the indoor space, and we want to own the outdoor space. So we want to make your life more fun. And we're going to do that in a number of ways. And first of all, make Dad the hero with his pool or his hot tub, because his wife's going to think he's really cool because the pool's always in great condition, and the kids' hair's not getting bleached with the chlorine in there. Secondly, we're looking at how can we help you with your chlorine? With your propane bottles.
Okay.
And make sure they never run out, so you always fulfill those. Another idea is around fertilization with all your different roses or your grass and your plants in your garden. How can we put smart sensors into that garden that actually analyze the fertilization requirements and ship you the fertilizers you need as well, and tie it all into service?
Got it. And you mentioned you were a serial entrepreneur. One thing that I always like to ask the people I'm interviewing is, what was the hardest part in any of your ventures? What was that rock bottom moment where it was really difficult as opposed to all of the highs that people like to talk about? What was one of the tough times that you had as an entrepreneur, maybe with the yard company or anything before?
Well, I'll give you two answers. The first answer is an historic answer. So if you look back at the way a startup grows, and every entrepreneur out there, really take heed to this, because you could find that you could build a company over 5-7 years, and your end return maybe not as much as working for 7 years in corporate life, earning bonuses and a high paycheck, etc.
Yep.
But what it gives you a different attitude of life. I mean, I'm unemployable now. I couldn't work in corporate life.
Right.
And I think it makes you, for me, it made me a better person. It actually changes the stress levels. You work in corporate life, you've got people above you and below you, you're sandwiched between that. In your own entrepreneurial startup, your failures and your decisions are your own to make. Yes, you have investors, but at the end of the day, you've got to make the right decisions and grow that. And I think what I've found is that you've got to stick at it, and you've got to become extremely tenacious. And you must never say the word no. No should never be in your vocabulary. So that because there's always hurdles, and I'm not saying lie, cheat, and do wrong. What I'm saying is find your way around those things. Always get up the following morning and hit the reset button and go, okay, it's another new day. How am I going to achieve that goal?
Got it. So Youngry is a entrepreneurial media company where we give entrepreneurs content from people like you that have had that experience, that have lived it, and now they have something to kind of guide them on their journey. Something that we really harp on is the fact that mentors are a big influence on your success. Have you had any mentors, or were there any books that you turned to that gave you any type of guidance throughout your entrepreneurial journey?
So I'm not a classic Stanford University student.
Yeah.
So no, my background is that I was going to become an architect,
Okay.
and I actually realised it was a 7-year course in architecture. And so I went to an architect's office and said, "Okay, what happens after 7 years?" And they said, "Well, there's another 7 years to become a partner." So it's 14 years of my life.
It's too long.
So I rationalised the whole workflow for 14 years of my life, and realised that actually I want to do something different. So I didn't take a degree. I went into the workspace. I started building companies, and I went back and took a master's degree later on to prove I could do it. And I say to anyone that's out there, I mean, if you are going to follow the normal process of degree and getting the education, great, that's good. But at the same time, you've got to get in the workplace equally. You've got to be doing that the same amount as you're being educated. And so you come out of it smarter with a great education and a great understanding of how business works.
Okay. So we're here at CES, and awesome event in Vegas. There's over 200,000 people that are here. Is there anything that stuck out to you besides your own business that was cool, or anything that you noticed, or anyone that gave a talk that you particularly enjoyed?
Well, I'm ashamed to say I'm only here for the day.
Okay.
So quick in, quick
This isn't
out.
a bad way to spend it.
It's fantastic. But what I have seen here is, as I was saying, if you go onto the main floor and you see the amount of entrepreneurial spirit here, and the way that people are building and innovating is absolutely incredible. And year on year, it's growing faster and harder. What's good to see is people like Snapchat actually turning the corner now and changing from a content play to a hardware play, and seeing how they're inspiring other people to do that as well. I mean, you take drone technology and how that's changing. Eventually, we'd like drones to be delivering our smart water-soluble pods into the pools.
Yeah.
So to me, what I've seen is great vision, great design. And what people need to do now is actually find a way of actually making it part of an ecosystem. Not a platform, because there's too many of those platforms out there already, but actually making sure you build in service, you build in fulfillment, you build in a whole end-to-end ecosystem that people can actually embrace and be part of.
Completely agree. So what's up next for your company? You mentioned turning a corner. Where are you currently at, and what does the rest of this year look like?
So we've been on an interesting journey. To begin with, we were luckily founded by Andy Rubin's Playground Global fund and studio, and that gave us an incredible backbone to actually grow the business and shape it for success. What I mean by that is that you can go and build a piece of plastic and make it float, but actually how are you going to give it that architecture that's going to make it grow and have the vision to actually connect to other things and make a viable business for the future. And so what Playground's done for us, and we're very thankful for it, is actually giving us the capabilities of actually giving us the building blocks and foundations to grow on. And now they're about to let us go. So we're no longer the little bird in the nest anymore. We're about to spread our wings and fly. And with that, we're actually going to mass production in China now.
Wow.
So we're manufacturing in California. We're with Flextronic. They're taking us now into their Chinese operation. We're going to mass market. We're looking at tens of thousands of units this year. And it's great to see how we're going to get into retail this year, how online's already proven out for us, how we're getting into the B2B play as well, where we're getting pull techs embracing us, not just consumers wanting to buy the product, and how we're getting into the chemical industry as well.
So you mentioned that you're producing 10,000s of units
Yeah.
now, right? What is your target demographic? Is it just anyone with a pool or a hot tub, or is there a certain type of niche person that has this disposable income to spend on this type of product?
Yeah, great question. There's 14 million pools and hot tubs in the US alone.
It's a good start.
Yeah, so it's a good start. It's a good problem to have.
Yeah.
And 75% of those people actually maintain their pools themselves. So that's not a big problem. And if you actually look at the statistics around a child with skin rashes and issues around that, and people having general, they're not confident about what chemicals to buy. So you go into a pool store and you see a bewildering range of chemicals. What do you do about that? And so what we're trying to do is we're trying to simplify the whole process and ensure that that is made much easier. So 75% of 14 million is a big number to go for. But then out of the 25% that have pool techs to support them, all the pool techs that we've been speaking to want to use the pHin products as well.
Right.
So hopefully it's going to be a great year for us.
I hope so too. So what is the biggest challenge that you've had so far from conception of the company until where you're at right now, where 10,000 of units are being produced?
Yeah, that's a great question. I think what I'm really proud of is that my co-founder Justin has brought together a great software team. and he's been in the Valley for a number of years, knows it, because great contacts, and it's always difficult to find people, find the right class of people, and we've got a great team, we've got an incredible software platform. Then you've got to build a great hardware platform.
Right.
And so then you start contracting that out to third parties. And you have different experiences. So some of our pain has been around that understanding with those third parties and how you can actually ensure you can get to market with a stable, viable product. And we've actually delayed our launch a little bit in the past because we want to make sure that what went out to market was going to be spot on.
Was there anything that surprised you from the time that you started this company until now, and this entire journey, that you didn't expect with this industry or with your product or with production delays, anything like that? Was there anything that caught you off guard?
Yeah, I think one of the key things for me is that, as I said at the beginning, we are becoming a three-pronged business. We're providing service, we're providing fulfillment, and we're providing a smart hardware product with software, of course. And with that comes a lot of logistics and fulfillment and operations work. And so we've been working with some great people, including some really senior people in the industry to get us placed for operational use. Yeah. And I think it's great that you've got an engineering team for hardware and software, but how do you actually put that operations team in place to ensure you can fulfill correctly, you get the logistics right, and you get the whole supply chain in place, and that's vital.
Awesome. Last two questions.
Yeah.
What's your favorite football team? Need to know.
So I'm ashamed for the second time. The first one was only being here a day. The second thing is that I'm a rugby player.
All right.
So
Can't be ashamed of.
So I like rugby.
I went for a generalization. that looks worse on me. And final question is, what is the one piece of advice that you would give to entrepreneurs out there that are starting out today, or those that are seasoned veterans? What's that one piece of advice that is that nugget that holds the best info for you?
Believe in the idea and never say no.
All right, straight to the jump. I love it. Great interview. Thank you for your time.
Thank you.
It's great.